McCoisty Jim, the West Ham fan's been on. He says, Jeff, why are you not pushing your mate Moyes forward for the United job if he's such a world-class manager? Yeah, I'm just trying to cast my mind back. Oh, yeah, tell you what, Jim, he's already been there. That's why. Now, Manchester City and Spain midfielder Rodri, Jim will never let it go, will he?
Never.
He's got his
chance.
teeth into it like a
Keep it coming,
dog
Jim.
in a bone. Well done,
See,
Jim.
before we get any further, Jeff, I can't believe I never mentioned you Behind Blue Eyes. What a song that is.
Yeah, it was a cracking song as well.
Oh, one of my favourites. And also, I wrote in You Better, You Better. Like, we'll be here all morning mentioning Hugh's songs. We better just let it go.
Absolutely, they were fantastic. Now, Man City and Spain midfielder Rodri won the Ballon d'Or last night in Paris. First Premier League winner of the award since Cristiano Ronaldo in 2008. He beat the Real Madrid trio of Vinicius Jr., Dani Carvajal and Jude Bellingham to the top honour. And that verdict from the 100-strong panel led the delegation from Real Madrid to stay at home. It's like taking your football home with you, isn't it? talkSPORT's very own Jim White was in attendance. He caught a word with Barcelona midfielder Dani Olmo, who was delighted for Rodri.
Really good news for Spain. I think Rodri making an amazing year. He have been so far amazing seasons, not only for City, also with Spain. We have won the Nations League, the Euros this last summer. So if he wins, he will be definitely a big winner, and he really deserves it.
Danny, your English is so good. You must be playing in the English Premier League someday.
I'm really happy in Barcelona. Thank you.
Greg, the Arsenal fan, says RIP football, a water carrier winning best player in the world.
Oh, who said that?
That's Greg, the Arsenal fan.
Greg, sort out, son. That's
no. And you know, football's not just all about goal scorers. Yeah, they get all the glory, they get all the headlines, but without players with the brilliance of Rodri,
correct.
You know, what would they be? You know, without Rodri, where would Manchester City be? I mean, they might well still win the title, but they would not be the same quality of outfit. Look, joining us for more now is the former striker turned Spanish football expert, Terry Gibson. Morning, Gibbo.
Good morning, Terry. How are you, mate?
Good morning, lads. And unfortunately not a former Ballon d'Or winner. Couldn't get one of those on the show.
Terry, I just want to talk about Real Madrid quickly. I mean, you know, that is such juvenile behaviour. What's the perception of what they've done in Spain?
Well, Real Madrid, I think, place so much importance on this award. I mean, no club has had a player that's won the Ballon d'Or more than Real Madrid. Of course, most of those are from Ronaldo, but goes back to Cannavaro and Zidane and Modric and Benzema recently. So they really place a lot of importance on it, which I don't think the rest of the world does, to be honest. We're talking about a French football magazine with 100 journalists from around the world. 100 people are choosing who, you know, it's a subjective topic, who is the best player of the year. But Real Madrid place so much emphasis on it. So they're bitterly disappointed. France football have made an enemy now that probably isn't wise. So it's rather strange. I mean, they sign players because they've won the Ballon d'Or. Michael Owen went to Real Madrid just after winning the Ballon d'Or. They place such importance on it. They canvass, they campaign. That's why everybody thought it was a nailed-on decision that Vinicius was going to win it, which, in my opinion, would have been if he had the wrong player from Real Madrid. I think Dani Carvajal should have been the one they campaigned for. And Jude Bellingham had a better season last year. He was the player of the year in La Liga. He was the better player than Vinicius, but for some reason, Real Madrid canvassed and campaigned. It's almost like an election to try and get their player to win the Ballon d'Or. I read that 50 people were going on a plane yesterday to see Vinicius be reigns the king of football, and the plug was pulled at the last minute. So it's something that Real Madrid placed a lot of importance on, and I'm not particularly sure why.
It's amazing, Terry. I'm with Jeff totally in this one. You know, I look at the club, and with Ramon Calder on last week, and he is a proper gentleman, and I absolutely love when he comes on to talk about Real Madrid. You can feel the passion in his voice, Terry. But for a club that claimed to be the number one club in the world, I'm with Jeff, Terry. It's just a kind of juvenile way of reacting. It's like a kind of Donald Trump reaction, if you don't mind me using the political. It's as if, right, well, we've not won it, the toys are out the pram. I mean, Ancelotti won Coach of the Year. I mean, there's other things that happen at Real Madrid, but I just thought it was such a juvenile reaction.
Exactly, and I don't know about you, Ali. It's won 1 or 2 Player of the Year awards for my clubs and whatever, but it's a team sport, football.
Yeah.
And to me, I've never placed much importance on the Ballon d'Or. We've all got our opinions. They had a spell where the players were allowed to vote, and I was coaching Northern Ireland, and I was there when the players were asked to vote, and they were messing about. It wasn't the most serious thing in the world. Everybody had an opinion before they placed their vote.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why Real Madrid are like this, but it is they as I say, they place such importance on having the Ballon d'Or winner in their squad that it leads to behaviour like this, and it's spoiled good night for Spanish football, for La Liga, because they won pretty much everything, and yet Real Madrid, arguably the biggest club representative from La Liga, weren't there because they threw their toys out the pram. So it is a shame. They don't come across in a good light, but they don't care. They are so big. It's ridiculous, and they think they'll probably start their own award.
I mean, what it does as well, it takes some of the headlines, some of the spotlight, some of the gloss away from Rodri. And look, I mean, you can make arguments. Of course, you can make arguments for other players, including the Real Madrid trio. But Rodri, made 64 appearances in all competitions last season, helped Manchester City towards the Premier League title, and of course helped Spain to win the European Championship. Terry, he's taken that midfield role to a completely different level, hasn't he?
He has, and we're talking about the Busquets role. It might be the Rodri role in 10 time, and everybody looks back. Has he added anything to Busquets? It's a hard one to call, because I'm not sure anyone could ever be better than Sergio Busquets in his time at Barcelona. I remember him playing for Villarreal, Jeff, and it took me 10 minutes as a young player. It took me 10 minutes to recognise this was going to be a player that was going to be something special. Went off to Atletico Madrid for a season. Man City picked him up. I knew he was a bargain. His team, whenever he plays, they barely lose a game of football, and that's his biggest attribute. It's ridiculous. You talk about 64 games last season. He didn't lose many of those, if any. And then he does the same with Spain as well, where he was. And it was nice to see him get player of the tournament, because Spain had some outstanding individuals. The 2 wingers, the young wingers, caught the eye.
Yeah. But
everybody was aware of the importance of Rodri in midfield, holding it all together, distributing the ball, defending, doing all aspects of central midfield play. So I certainly don't begrudge Rodri winning the Ballon d'Or.
Terry, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks,
Have a great day,
good
mate.
to talk to you, mate.
Always a pleasure, Jeff. Ali, thank you.
Thank you.
A wonderful text from Luke in Liverpool. He says, Rodri to Real Madrid next summer? Very mischievous, Luke.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.